violin repertoire, like solo repertoire. Shostakovich I'm doing next year, the first concerto, Bartok concerto, Stravinsky. There are tons, and so that's good. And then there's all kinds of chamber music I haven't played. There's symphonic things, and now I'm directing and conducting, so I'm making my way through. I've done now 6 of the Beethoven symphonies, so I'm kind of working my way through some of the repertoire, but there's an endless amount of stuff to do.
How do you keep so many pieces like in your memory?
Don't do drugs. In my memory, you know, actually it's funny because when I was younger, a piece like, actually, the Lalo that I played tonight, I learned when I was 11. So it's a piece that I could drop this for 20 years and it would still be there, because the things you learn when you're younger. I've had played concertos, I premiered new works like just 5 years ago that I can't even sing any melody in the piece, even though I learned it, spent all this time on it. And then, you know, when you're old, of course if I spent a couple of days, it would all come back. But it's funny how the memory works as you get older. It doesn't stick quite the same. So some new pieces, I'll use music just to not have the stress of worrying that I might, you know, have a lapse in memory, because there's nothing worse than worrying about memory. You're not supposed to be thinking about that. So, yeah.
When you get to select your performances like this evening, do you also get to select like who's the conductor? You know?
I wish. Well, I got lucky this time, but it's not really the case. But I can select, like I can decide whether I'll do it or not. Often they'll say, it's so-and-so conducting this orchestra, do you want to do it? And then I can say no, yes or no. I can't say, no, bring in Carlos Kleiber, he's dead. So yeah, I get to choose the repertoire usually, but even that sometimes there's negotiation depending on if they've had it that year or if the conductor wants to do it. So it's all negotiable.
Do you ever get nerves on stage? And if so, how do you feel?
Nerves, of course, yeah. Nerves, I get the most nerves when it's the first time doing something, or the first time in a long time, or the first of a series, you know, like tonight compared to last night. I was probably less nervous because we did it last night. But I like a little bit of nerves. I get that, I like the excitement of it, but there are times where I feel overly anxious. And the best way to prepare for that, I mean, is prepare well with it. Practice well, feel that you've really prepared well enough, and that helps. And also, yeah, I mean, for you kids, whoever you are, who have a concert coming up, and you're worried about nerves. I mean, that's something. You know, I play about 140 or 150 times a year in front of people, so I'm used to it. But for some people who are starting out, you know, you don't get all that many opportunities, so there's that much more pressure each time. And the best way to combat that is just to do practice runs. You know, get your pianist to come in and play it through for some friends or just your family, and do practice runs before your concert. Because it's always the first time you do something that's the most nerve-wracking. After you've done that, it's a lot easier.
I was wondering, do you enjoy a variety of styles of music, and do you think pop music has any merit?
Well, I mean, I don't know what pop music means. I guess pop meaning popular. Because a lot of pop music I don't like, and I mean I can't say I don't like it. It's just I wouldn't choose to sit and put on my headphones and sit and listen to most of the top 40 hits. But that's not always the case. There are exceptions, and I love all kinds of music. I like some rock music. I like some like bluegrass, jazz. I've worked with a lot of different artists from all those genres, actually. So yeah, I appreciate good music, whatever genre I'm saying. It just so happens that sometimes the popular things are the most kind of generic, just because it's popular doesn't mean it's better.
Can you talk a little bit about, because you said you played the Lalo when you were really young, and then you played it probably a lot until now. Can you talk about the creative process in interpreting music? Like, how do you know how to interpret it, what kind of musicality you want each time you do it?
Yeah, it's, I can't imagine the way I played it when I was 11. I didn't really have any idea what I was doing. But in some ways that's good. I kind of used my instincts and now I'm much more analytical. I think about a lot more things. As you get older, your interpretation, your view on the piece changes. Every other work that you've worked on contributes to how you think about this one, it's just I let it kind of evolve, and it has to be sort of an honest relationship between you and the piece, and you just have to keep letting it evolve, keep looking for more, always looking for more in it, and then on the concert night, just letting it in a piece like this. There's so much room for freedom. I like not to plan. I like planning obviously certain elements of the piece, but I like to leave some things really just for the moment. And so between last night and tonight, there are a lot of different things between the performances. Just as spur of the moment. It's a lot of it's almost improvisation, not the notes, but just the way you handle the rhythms and the. There's just a lot of choices you can make in the moment, which is nice with a piece like this.
Thank you.
Do you have any advice to young musicians pursuing music?
Well, it's hard to give generic advice, except there's a lot of ways you can be a musician. And when I say musician, it doesn't necessarily mean even having it as a job. Being a musician is more than a job, and I know many people who are doctors that I would call musicians because music is very central in their lives. They play a lot of music. But if you want to do it for a job, there's a lot of things you can do. I would say just get as much of an education as you can in music. Do other instruments if you can. I regret not playing piano as a kid, like having lessons. So if you can do piano as well as violin, that's great. Study languages. It's another regret that I have. I travel so much now, and the world is so small for all of us now. Learning languages, I would say, is very important for the younger you are. Again, the memory issue. The younger you are, the easier it is to learn languages. But just follow the things that you like to do. Find works you like. Find a good teacher. A teacher that you really connect with, because that's going to keep you going.
So let's do, I'm sorry to interrupt, one more question, then we'll have all of the students come up on the stairs.
Who hasn't asked a question? Yes, you do.
Oh, me? How do you maintain your practice schedule when you're traveling so much?
Yeah, it's fitting it in here and there. It's not always, I can't have a regular schedule. So, sometimes just finding a storage room at the airport and putting my mute on and trying to hide in there and getting 30 minutes in. I love to practice now, actually. It's funny, maybe because it's so hard to find the time, that when I do have time to practice, I really enjoy it. You just have to make time and then be efficient in practicing. It's as important as the amount of hours you put in. Just having a goal and really focusing on what you need to do. Anyway, thank you all for being here, and I guess we're going to do
Yep, on the
a
stairs.
picture.
We'll get everybody on the stairs.
Okay.